Welcome to LFC Talk at Hotel Tia, this time on Zoom with video in colors. How incredible is that at the verge at the end of Easter? We're full, we're happy. We've had lots of sugar, both for the belly, but also for the mind, because Liverpool Football Club is on fire. My name is Ragnhild Lund Ansnes, and with me today I have my shining knight in armor, David Fairclough. How are you today, David?
Yeah, very good, Ragnhild. Yeah, as I say, I'm full of sugar, but more cakes than chocolate, actually. Too many good things around this time of the year.
I know. And with us as well, we have Ian Skyner. How are you today, Ian?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you, Ragnhild. Yeah, looking forward to the coming week, with the lots of big games that we've got ahead of us. So getting excited already.
It's just so much to look forward to. And we've just put behind us some matches on fire that we have to talk through first. And we can't sort of not start with Wembley. David, what a performance that was by the Reds.
Yeah, an amazing first half, and to be in that position at half time maybe might have been a difficult position to deal with in the strangest of ways. Getting caught just after half time brought a dose of reality to games against Manchester City, but we were so in control the first half. It was an amazing performance, as Jürgen said, perhaps the best 45 minutes we've seen from Liverpool in the Jürgen team. So yeah, amazing start to the game. Pity that I never really felt we were in problems, even though we gave that goal away just after half time. Never felt that there was any real issue until obviously they got the goal right at the death, and then you think to yourself, stranger things have happened. But just a couple of minutes to go. The fact that we'd taken our three best players off probably didn't help at the time, because we lost a little bit of control, but fabulous win all the same.
You say, Jürgen said it was maybe the best 45 minutes he has seen. What was it with those first 45 that made this team click so immensely? Well,
for me, it was the control that they had. They had the passing was crisp, and all we sort of picked off our nice little angles, and there was a little bit of sort of real intent there. Getting the goal after just 5 minutes, fantastic start. That naturally builds confidence, but then after that, the two from Mane were tremendous. Individual pieces of brilliance, I think, and whilst the second one he capped off a brilliant piece of teamwork. So the passing, you have to say, was just tremendous. I think in some games recently, passing hasn't been as crisp. We've wasted a lot of the ball. We didn't necessarily have that control in the league game at the Etihad. So huge improvements. There was a great deal of intent there, I felt.
And Ian, the Reds played with so much confidence as well, wouldn't you say? I mean, we had a tricky game against them in the league where the first half was quite shaky and then we sort of picked up. But then this was a completely different game from what we saw in the league, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an incredible first half, absolutely incredible, as David said. But I think the pressing also in the first half, is where we got to. It was amazing, the performance, the first 45 minutes. And I was so grateful for the third goal, I have to say, because against City, you never really know. You never really know against City. And it was such a nervous second half. I mean, even though they did score early and then they scored late, I know David said that they didn't have a load of chances during that second half, but it doesn't stop you being, super, super nervous during that 45 minutes, because City is such a good team that, they can hit you at any time, and as they proved near the end, they could have got an equaliser, couldn't they, near the end with, I think, was it Mahrez? Was it Mahrez? I'm thinking of the previous game, aren't I? But yeah, that second half. Sorry, David.
Sorry, Sterling had that one, didn't he? Right at the death.
Sterling, right near the end. But it was, it was an incredible first half. But I was so grateful for the third goal, you know, at the end of the first half. But that first half performance was, as you rightly said, David, and as Jürgen has stated in the week, it was incredible. It was an absolute incredible performance. And it was that, I think we went up. We went up in the first game. We just played against them in the league. City were up first, weren't they? And I think it was important that we scored first in this game. You know, I think that definitely gave us the momentum at scoring first. But yeah, incredible, absolutely incredible first half.
And that cheeky, I just have to, add the cheekiness too, you know, being so completely on the ball and pressing forward like Sadio Mane did on the 2-0 goal. Poor Stefan, I mean, he must be dreaming about it at night, but that's what you get when you got that intensity and hunger. You wouldn't expect City to do something like that, but it's quite cheeky and so on the ball to actually get a goal like that, isn't it, David?
Yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't happened. Maybe, you know, those type of goals before. You know, players sometimes show a little bit of reluctance to actually really go and make contact with the goalkeeper. But great speed of thought by Mane. You know, as you know, intent really. You know, Ian mentions the closing down. The closing down was brilliant. But I mean, and that was a feature and very much an element of that goal by Sadio Mane. But the first game, the league game, we created our own problems early doors, and then you can't give City that type of go ahead to put their, you know, to make their mark on a game. So I think with the changes, the freshness that we were able to use on Saturday, I think a few things that came out in the first game, well, I'm sure Jürgen wanted, you know, correcting in this one, and that's how it panned out. I always felt Liverpool were going to win on Saturday. I have to say, I spoke to a number of people Saturday morning. I didn't have any real doubts in my mind. I'll be honest, and that's, you know, that's maybe a strange thing to say against Manchester City, but I was very confident that we would win at the weekend.
And another thing we won was the fans' atmosphere. I mean, the Reds around in the stands at Wembley were just absolutely incredible. I was sad to say I couldn't go to Wembley because of illness in my family. So I missed out and had to sit and watch it in front of the television, which was a bit painful. But at the same time, it really warmed my heart to see all those fellow Reds out there just doing the job for the boys. How amazing were they?
Yeah, it was incredible. And I think with the Carling Cup final, Ragnhild, we were there together for that cup final, and the atmosphere then was just incredible. But this one's topped it, hasn't it? Again, this atmosphere this time was better than the Carling Cup final. You know, it was just incredible, wasn't it?
It was tremendous, and Liverpool love going to, you know, Wembley particularly, but we're fantastic at finals. The support is unique. There was a comment from Martin Keown who sort of I don't know, made a stupid remark about Liverpool think they've won the cup, they already won the game already with the way the fans were celebrating. Well, that was just support. Yeah, he's never played for a team. He's never played for a team that has support like that anyway.
Yeah.
So it was just amazing. The love and the passion Liverpool fans have. I mean, when it makes you laugh, I suppose, when you hear teams come to Anfield, you know, about your famous atmosphere stuff. Liverpool fans, you know, they support when we need to support, and sometimes a slight on the team that we're playing, because the fans are sort of a bit subdued when we're playing in ordinary situations. I don't know whether that's a correct way to say it, but when they have to support, Liverpool fans do it like no other.
Yeah, they sing about that famous atmosphere, and that often comes, particularly on an early kickoff. I've noticed the early kickoffs are always slightly low, aren't they, in atmosphere?
Yeah.
And the opposing teams always sing, "Where's your famous atmosphere?" But it's that famous, they're singing about it. They're talking about it then, aren't they? That's how famous it is, because they're chanting, "Where's your famous atmosphere?" So I often find that amusing.
Yeah, it's ironic, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, I think that the atmosphere at Anfield always at its best. You know, I mean, Liverpool over the last 10 or 11 games, since the Leeds game, been at the, you know, the top best form. I don't think Liverpool, but there's the grind and the results out every single week, whether they're playing, at the top level or not quite at the top level. And they haven't been, I don't think personally, been at the best, but they just keep grinding and grinding and grinding out. And that just shows the quality of the team and the squad.
Yeah, very much so. And that's also, I think people sometimes think about the past. The teams of the past ground out victories and leagues.
Yeah.
Limped over the line a couple of times. Wasn't always champagne, celebration football. It was, and that you do what's needed.
Yeah.
And, although it wasn't maybe the best performance against Watford, it was what was, it was enough that was needed to get the win. And then you come against the big teams like Manchester City. And then that's when the standard lifts, and our quality was there to it, to really admire at the weekend. I mean, some of our players were just unbelievable. Thiago jumps to mind. I mean,
Diaz
is, it's been a revelation.
Incredible. Yeah.
And another one that is really stepping up in big games is Konate. He's like scoring the opening goals when we need him over and over again these days. I mean, he scored the opening goal against City in the FA Cup semi-final. He also scored the opening goal in the Champions League return semi-final as well. What is it with Konate, who is now all of a sudden blossoming?
I don't think I've seen him have a bad game. I know he hasn't played a load of games for Liverpool because Matip's been in such good form. And probably, I think, our best centre-half this season, Matip. But when Konate's come in, I think one of his first games was against United away, I think.
Yeah.
He had an incredible game then. But he's so big, so powerful, and so strong that, every time he's come in, he's been fantastic.
Yeah, well, he's played, 22 games, 18 wins, 4 draws. I mean, it's a reflection on something that he's doing right, and he's a young guy. He's going to make mistakes, like the mistake he made in Benfica. But 22, when you're playing at Europe's top level as a first choice centre half, you do have to expect the odd little blip from time to time.
Of course,
but his strengths far outweigh any mistakes that he has made. But he's a young guy who seems to know how to use his strength and his height. Unfortunately, I don't think at times, Van Dijk or Matip really make advantage of the height that they have. But Konate is one who, when he comes up there and he makes contact, he does know how to direct the header. And I know we've only seen it in three occasions, but I think that's been something missing from our game, and it's great to see centre halves contributing with goals. A massive part of any successful team. And
this successful team is still playing for the quadruple. It's just unbelievable. We're ebbing out of Easter full of sugar and hopes for the rest of the season. I've got this gut feeling, and it's only a gut feeling, that we will win the FA Cup and we will win the Champions League. And we will just not make it to the title race with Manchester City. And this is just a gut feeling. I want us so badly to win the league this year, and it's obviously still possible. What do you guys think? Where do you think we will? Because we will win more. We're not gonna let all the other 3 possibilities slip here with a team like this. Where do you think we'll lift the trophies?
Well, we're going to be favourites, I think, already. I mean, Chelsea will be a tough game. It'll be a tough game in the final of the FA Cup. But I think we'll go into that favourites. Most definitely we'll go into the FA Cup final favourites. We'll have the support again, so much more than Chelsea. The Champions League, for me, I'm hoping Madrid beat City because I want revenge for 2018. I really do want to play Madrid in the final. And my nerves will be a little better playing Madrid than they will play in City. Because the plan is we'll be there. For me, if I had the choice now, I'd take the Premier League before any of the other 2. I'd take the Premier League. I noticed Jamie Carragher on an interview earlier on this week. I don't know if it was with Gary Neville or whatever, as he said he'd take the Champions League. But I think the majority of Liverpool fans, if you ask them now, what they would want to win out of those remaining three. If you could only choose one, I think they'd say the Premier League. I think so. Personally, I don't know what David thinks, but
definitely. Because that goes over a whole season, and we didn't get to celebrate the last one when we finally won it after 30 years of longing for it. But what's the most realistic, do you think, David, out of those three?
Well, as you say, the cup games on face value look potentially the easier, because we're going to have to raise ourselves for 3 or 4 games, which, head to heads, and the league, we're relying on a little bit of misfortune for City, and yet we've still got to do it ourselves. So the league is the tougher one, but I would agree with you both. I think the league is the one that we want more than anything else. For those reasons, Ragnhild, that you said, the fans missed out on celebrating, and the players missed out on winning in front of their home fans, and it's something I was very fortunate to, able to do, and it's absolutely massive to feel that you are the champions, and to enjoy it with the support, and so for those reasons, I know until maybe a couple of days ago, actually, I was thinking probably we could stumble along the way, but I'm now feeling the 4 is actually achievable. I really do think it is achievable. To think that we're at this stage of the season where no Liverpool team has ever been, it's real credit to the group of players and the manager for keeping up that momentum, concentration, application. It's fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic where we're at, and I can remember just a few years ago, our season was over often in November. We didn't have a great deal to look forward to, but here we are, right at the death, going on, fighting on all fronts.
David,
well, if we beat,
you're giving me goosebumps. I just have to say this because David is normally not the most optimistic. He will always hold back. And for David Fairclough to say he's still thinking we can do the quadruple, it is actually giving me goosebumps. Sorry, Ian, what were you saying?
No, I was just going to say the 2 games against Villarreal. I won't say when we come through, if we come through, I'll say when we come through with those both games, and we're in a Champions League final, then that, I think I've read somewhere, is the maximum games you can ever play in one season, isn't it? Because we'll have got to the final of the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, the Champions League, and obviously the 38 games in the Premier League. So there won't have been another game we can play more. That will be a maximum number of games that when you start off at the beginning of the season, that is the maximum amount of games you can possibly play in all of those 4 competitions, which is just incredible when you think about it.
Yeah, I was saying there was a statistic floating around, wasn't there, that it will beat the current record of remaining in contention into May. Chelsea have been in all 4 competitions up to May the 1st previously.
Yeah.
And Liverpool will beat that this season. So you can think what you like about accolades or milestones. I think they're great to have, and for people to look back and say, this was achieved and that was achieved. I'd have loved to have Liverpool to have beat Inter Milan when we lost against Inter Milan. I was devastated that we lost that little opportunity to carve our name on the wall kind of thing. A few teams that achieve these little sort of let's say these great milestones along the way, and for what they're achieving at the moment, I mean, you do have to really applaud the players. The application is amazing.
David, you've played in a side where you won a lot of different competitions at once, and you played so many games in one season. Can you try to explain what it feels like, both in your body and in your head, when you get to the end of so many competitions and you've played and you've got so many games in your legs? How do you stay focused to the bitter end? What's the secret?
Well, at the end of the day, you play for Liverpool Football Club, and all those lads down the years, the people like Emlyn Hughes, Ray Clements, Kevin Keegan, who would, have played the maximum games in every season, Tommy Smith. At the end of the day, you're playing for Liverpool, and the expectation is massive. There's no sort of taking a day off kind of thing. And the thing about football is that whilst you want to achieve individually, you can't do it without each other. You're in a team situation, so you're around these hugely driven individuals who are all telling you that you're going to have to raise your game. They more often than not would a policeman, so to speak, of in the group. It wasn't the manager so much to laying down the law and what they wanted. It was the players themselves. The players themselves, and so we're finding this now. I'm sure that a lot of winners in there: Thiago, Van Dijk, and the others, Mane. I'm sure they're setting down the standards and inspire, helping to be the inspirations.
David, though, when you played, David, sorry, Ragnhild, that
okay.
And the success that Liverpool had at that period, the squad was nothing like as big, though, was it?
No.
And he never used it. You weren't allowed to use that many players anyway then, substitute-wise. But the squads weren't as big, were they? So the demands on the players at that point, at that time, the success that Liverpool had at that period, if you were playing, then you would play more games anyway, wouldn't you? Well, Liverpool have got the luxury now of rotating that top five. The centre halves, Gomez can come in. Tomiskas can come in. We didn't have that luxury at that time.
No, very much so. I mean, Ray Clements is, God knows how many games. Off the top of my head, I think it's 600 not. But Ray hardly ever missed a game, and they expect being there, fighting through injuries. People like Emlyn Hughes and Tommy Smith. I mean, the managers would have had to fight with them, physically to keep them off a pitch. So it's a different time, Ian. I appreciate what you're saying, and I think, but it's you kind of use what you have, don't you? And I think all the other teams were in similar situations. Our strength was obvious. The personalities were massive and huge and driven. And in this day and age, we're very fortunate to have built a squad. All of a sudden, I found it the weekend. Different TV people coming on and saying now how Liverpool have the better squad and the deeper squad. That's amazing. But the turnaround, because it wasn't that long ago, people were sort of saying that was Liverpool's handicap.
Yeah, weakness. Yeah.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you say that the English league now is the strongest in Europe? And wouldn't you say that Manchester City and Liverpool Football Club are the two best teams in the world right now? That's what I would claim. Well,
I think the English league has been the strongest for a long time. I really do. I think it's stronger in Italy and France. And France is pretty poor, really, isn't it, when you think about it? Spain, Barcelona and Real Madrid aren't what they were. So I think the Premier League is the strongest, than any of the European leagues. And this year, English teams could win all of the European Cups. But look where Leicester are, look where West Ham are, Liverpool, Man City. So they could win all of the European trophies. So I think that the Premier League is by far the strongest league in Europe.
Yeah, it's the toughest one to win. Italy, Germany, Spain, they're always fought out by just two or three teams. Very, very, you're not tested that often. Some of these teams enough. Whereas the Premier League is one that you have to be on your toes week in, week out. So it is a massive achievement to look at the level that the City and Liverpool have played at for the last 4 or 5 years. It's an incredible figure that comes out of. I think there's 1 point between them over. Is it 4 or 5 years? It's absolutely frightening that the consistency But I would say, I mean, it's difficult to say with obviously conviction or not real know-how, but they must be the two strongest teams in the world right now at the moment, Liverpool and Manchester City. Don't know what's exactly the situation in South America. I mean, they always breed a team that competes well in the club World Cup, but I think we must have the two strongest teams in the world.
Yeah, most definitely.
And poor Manchester United and poor Everton, they're coming to try to get something out of their games at Anfield this week. What a week. You know, normally we would just like tiptoe around these fixtures, and now they're just another two on our path to hopefully win the league. I know Manchester United is struggling with quite a few injuries. They've got Cavani out, they've got Shaw out, they've got Varane out, and a couple more. What do you guys think we can expect from the game Tuesday night at Anfield?
Well, United, it doesn't matter how poor United are or how poor Everton are. I never go into. I've got friends who are both Everton and United fans, and I'll never go into it saying, you know, we're going to make sure we beat you. We'll easily beat you. I never do it because I always sort of downplay it as much as I expect it in my own head. I'll downplay it verbally, because anything can happen against those two teams, with them being local derbies. Anything can happen. You know, there's all sorts of scenarios that can take place. And I am fairly confident, I have to say. You know, United had a good win at the weekend, struggled, you know, initially against Norwich, come back and, you know, Ronaldo gets his hat-trick. I'm fairly confident we'll win both of those games. But, you know, it's I do downplay it a little.
Yeah, it's a rare couple of weeks that we can say that we're in the middle of, having played City twice, had a big European quarterfinal sandwiched in there, and then you got United and Everton. So maybe that's you know, good thing. Players appreciate the level that they have to be at to get something. It's not like we're having a big performance at the weekend at Wembley, coming back to Anfield, and then you got a, you know, maybe a lesser side to confront. We know, as Ian points out, you know what these two teams are sort of capable of, or clubs. I think I would say more than teams. The difficult fixtures that we've got to navigate, but with our quality against the quality that both these can serve up. I'm like you, Ian. I'm in a confident place. We've just got to make sure that we're we're up to the mark. But it's a huge test for Liverpool with Villarreal on the back of the Everton one. So we're in such an exciting time, as we said earlier. It's a brilliant week.
And Everton is fighting for their life. I think they probably should be safe now, but you've got that X factor on top of all the emotions, that they are really sort of fighting every bit of the way to stay in the top league, where they rightly deserve to stay. If you ask me, I know not all Reds would say the same, but I want both the red and the blue team to stay in the top flight football in England. Do you agree, Ian? Would you like Everton to go down, or would you rather?
Yeah, listen, I'm not an Everton hater at all. My focus is always Liverpool. What anybody else does around it doesn't really matter. You know, I'll be honest, if Everton went down, I won't shed any tears. But I'm not wishing for them to go down. Not at all. I'm not wishing for Everton to go down, you know, one little bit. But if it happened, and they've got such a tough run in Everton. You know, they really have got a tough run of games. But no, I mean, for me, the derbies are something to look forward to every year, aren't they? Against Everton. So, you know, I'd be more than happy for them to stay in the Premier League as well. And I've got friends who are Evertonians too. So, you know, I know they'd be disappointed about it and sad if they went down. As much as, you know, a lot of Liverpool fans would get joy from it. But, you know, I'm happy for them to stay. But, you know, next year, same again for them. Clinging on.
I think there'd be something missing out of our lives, actually, if Everton didn't, you know, exist in the Premier League. I think it's great to have the banter. You know, as long as we're on sitting above and able to crow, then that's great. I think we'd be it'd be a worse place if we didn't have the two derbies on the fixture list to look forward to. And I've never really, I wouldn't say I've been an Everton hater at all. I grew up in Everton. So I like you, Ian. I've Everton friends and the like. So we have our laughs, and it's that's a good thing to have in our, it's sort of. I was in the supermarket the other day, and I was talking to a Liverpoolian, and then I got a sharp nudge into my shoulder of somebody who I didn't know at the time, but it was Dave Prentice. I'm going to name him, the former editor of the Echo. He was a massive Evertonian, but a good friend of mine, and only wishing us the worst of luck at the weekend. So I can't wait to see Dave over the next few days and sort of have that little moment with him, a little smug remark. But that's part of our everyday, isn't it? Having that contact with Evertonians, but knowing that we always have the upper hand.
I love how the sun just hit you, Ian. As soon as you started talking about Everton, you're all lit up in sunshine, bathing in sunshine as we speak. One last thing I want to ask you guys is, next week, after this intense run, we are playing Villarreal home first. Thoughts on that? When you are all the way into the semis, no one will ever forget the return semi against Barcelona, where we had the advantage of playing home last. What are your thoughts about playing Villarreal first? Will that be?
Well, I think that's changed slightly, hasn't it? Because the rules changed with the away goals. So I always like the second leg at home. Always liked it, with the atmosphere and the crowd and everything else. But I do think it's changed very slightly with the away rule has gone, hasn't it, from scoring away. So I think it makes a slight difference. But I would rather be at home for second leg. I'd always want to be at home, particularly in a semi-final, where you're hopefully going to get through to the Champions League final. But the importance of it with that slight change in the rule, I think, is gone down slightly.
Yeah, I think the change in the rule does make a slight difference. But I can remember situations where we've qualified for finals, or even won finals with, the second leg away. We won the UEFA Cup at Bruges. Second leg was away. Providing you do the job that you have when you have the advantage, then it can sort of not so much be no different. But the onus is on us, certainly, to take the game to Villarreal. I think it will be tricky in a fashion, because Unai Emery is a great tactician. There's absolutely no doubt about that. I wonder whether or not they have the real quality and depth to really take us on over two games in 8 days. That's going to be a real test of their resources, I think. So I would expect us to get a good, healthy lead at Anfield, make use of the advantage and the crowd, and I think the crowd are going to rise to the occasion, because it's something that we, most definitely want to be in the final in Paris. So I think the fans are really going to play their part. They will be the 12th man without a shadow of a doubt.
Dearest David Fairclough and Ian Skyner, thank you so much for joining us today for the LFC talk at Hotel Tia at the very end of Easter. I know you've got family lunches and everything on hold here to talk about the Reds, which I am very grateful for. And the sun is shining in Liverpool, which is always lovely. And we have so many massive games ahead. And they're coming fast and thick, and it's just so exciting to be a Red. So I just want to say thank you everyone who's listening, and those who are watching, since we're filming it today. If you're listening and you want to know what we look like, you can go and check out Hotel Tia's YouTube channel, where we will also release this incredible interview with Mona Nemme, who was one of the guest speakers at the Live Girls International event. the first weekend of April. She is such an inspirational lady, and I might pop in Jürgen Klopp's little video to the girls as well, because that always makes you smile when you see that man talk with his big white teeth, smiling all the time. Until next time, just enjoy this ride, guys. Up the Reds. Thank you. Bye bye.